Welcome to the full moon in Leo. Visibility under pressure. The full moon will be opposite Mars and Pluto in Aquarius. This is the fullness of the moon. What has been forming is now visible. Not for judgment, not for resolution, only for recognition. This is a moment of illumination, not instruction. Let what is present be seen clearly without interference. The moon reflects what already is. We enter with an open attention. This full moon exposes where visibility meets resistance. The moon will be full in Leo. Mars and Pluto will stand opposite in Aquarius. What is illuminated is not confidence. It is authority under scrutiny. This episode is an astrological reading. We are working with tension, not drama. Leo demands recognition. Aquarius applies pressure. Mars escalates conflict, and Pluto intensifies consequence. What matters is not how loudly something is expressed, but whether it survives opposition. A full moon in Leo brings light to your identity, your creative authority, and a desire to be seen as oneself. Opposite this moon, Mars and Pluto move together in Aquarius. This is not a gentle opposition. This is collective force meeting personal expression. Aquarius governs systems, ideologies, groups, the future-facing consensus, the collective. Mars brings with it urgency, confrontation, and activation. Pluto brings power dynamics, exposure, and irreversible change. This full moon asks a hard question. What happens to your sense of self when the collective pushes back? Leo is not just performance. At its core, Leo governs authorship. This full moon illuminates where you claim creative or personal authority, where you want recognition for something you've made or sustained, and where you are attached to being seen in a certain way. Under ordinary conditions, Leo seeks affirmation. Under this opposition, affirmation is not guaranteed. What is revealed instead is whether your expression depends on approval, whether your identity collapses under pressure, and whether your authority is internal or borrowed. Mars and Pluto in Aquarius do not respond to individual desire. They represent collective momentum, ideological enforcement, and systems that do not care who you are. This opposition can feel like being challenged publicly, having your work questioned by a group, realizing your personal vision conflicts with collective values, or feeling erased, resisted, or politicized. This is not personal punishment. It is context. Aquarius asks, does this expression have a function beyond the self? For my lovely witches out there, this full moon is not about dramatic release. It is about standing visibly without posturing. This is not a night for ego-driven magic, spell-seeking admiration, or performative self-expression. It is a night for claiming authorship without apology, holding presence under opposition, and recognizing where your magic intersects with power structures. This moon will test whether your craft exists for attention or whether it exists because it must. Now let's talk about some forms of working that you may consider during your rituals under this moon. Consider rituals of creation and ownership of those creations. Consider workings that state, this is mine to hold, this is mine to shape, this is not up for negotiation. It is a time for consecrating a creative practice, reclaiming a title or a role you've downplayed, reinforcing ownership over your work or identity. These spells should be simple and direct. No audience, no embellishment. Spells or rituals of resilience under scrutiny. The Mars-Pluto opposition of the full moon exposes weak points. You may consider spell work that consists of wards against coercion or ideological pressure, protections for maintaining clarity in conflict, spells that stabilize identity under stress. Focus on keeping things contained rather than just defending against them. Third would be spells or rituals that disentangle ego from purpose. This full moon can expose where ego has been doing the work of meaning. Consider workings that separate creative desire from validation, release attachment to being liked, and strengthen commitment to the work itself. This is not ego death, it is ego discipline. What you should watch out for during this full moon are power struggles framed as feedback, the pressure to justify your existence or work, moments where silence feels safer than visibility, or the urge to perform instead of stand. Ask yourself, if no one approved, would I still do this? Your response will be quite insightful. Now, let's consider integration for after the full moon. This lunation does not resolve conflict. It clarifies position. What falls away now, performative confidence, borrowed authority, identities built on approval. What remains, creative ownership, a creative spine, the capacity to stand without reinforcement. This is Leo at its most mature. This full moon did not ask you to shine. It asked you to stand. Visibility without validation is a discipline. Not everything needs to be defended. Not everything needs to be explained. Hold what is yours. Let the rest respond as it will. The light has done its work. You are not required to conclude anything. Fullness does not mean completion. Let what has surfaced settle in its own time. Illumination changes things even when no action is taken. Carry forward only what remains after the light fades. The moon will wane. The knowing will stay.